gotta throw. Oh no, oh no. No, 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 no. Okay. Today we are with each other. Good? Oh no. I'm a little bit too far away. Hold on one second, guys. Wait. Zoom? Camera A? Ka-chow. Wait one second here, guys. I gotta bring this little doohickey with me. Good? Alright guys, I'm getting pumped. Ka-chow. Alright guys, get pumped. Good? Morning, chili dogs. What you focus on? Gross. Don't forget to feed them horses. I'll see you guys in a second. Ka-chow. Camera A? Mini wheel. Camera B. Hey guys, we got a little sip of coffee here. Ooh, feeling energized. Feeling like I got some power in the soul. Let me get a bag of clay here. And it's time we prep our clay. All right. Hello, gal. I hope you're doing well. All right, y'all. So, fresh bag of clay. We're gonna unzip this little tie thing here. I feel like I should do something like with all these ones I'm collecting. I have like a couple areas in my studio here that I just collect those. Opening this up. Set this to the side. So something that you want to keep in mind is when you're doing this stuff is wet right now. So it's not gonna, like, when you crumble it, you're not gonna get dust flying off. So keep that in mind, because when we split this, if we put that right back where we got it, then all of a sudden now, we don't have to worry about dust getting everywhere. So, watch me cut this here. And we'll be doing half a bag. Okay. So you got this, right? Look, take this, back right over top, the wet side down. All of a sudden now you've sealed this kind of nicely. I think oftentimes I just have bags lying around when I shouldn't. And so it's been like a little thing I've been trying to get better at, is making sure you kind of keep up on your bag usage. Okay. We're just gonna push this down, so we're just sort of rocking it in place here. Okay, let's get these guys out. Until all of a sudden we get a smaller chunk right here, right? You got this small chunk. And so we're not even worried about all this, right? So that's why spiral wedging is nice, because you can work with a small chunk and you can feed this clay up into the spiral here, right? And then when you want to finish the clay, you're going to do smaller turns. So watch. So watch how I'm doing smaller turns. And you can just roll it over. Give it a little spin here. There we go. Camera A. Alrighty. I'm gonna do one more thing, get some more coffee here. And then we're gonna kind of set in our range today. Like, and what I mean by set in our range, I mean like sometimes zoom. Okay. So if I'm about this low, do you see how that's kind of not as nice of a image? So I think I'm gonna go right about here for the zoom in. Camera A. I think this will be good. So we'll do this. Get this guy out of here. Let's see. What do you think is a stronger force? Hate or love? I don't know. That's a... What's a stronger force? I don't know. That's... I feel like they're equally as powerful. This is kind of tilting weird. Is this not on properly? No, it's good. So I'm just wetting this down just a little bit here first, right? You can see how I have, like, it's popping up a little bit. So maybe what I'll do is I'll lift this off this wheel head here, hit some little chunks of clay in these little peg holes. And I get a tighter fit around the little pegs on the wheel head here. Come on. Okay. All right. Now we're going to slowly push this down. See this bottom edge? Once this is nice and sealed, I'm going to first take this part of my hand, I'm pushing down. So watch as I'm going down. And then that left hand here is going to be pushing in, right? So watch as I'm pushing in. Do you see how it slowly is going up a little bit? Then I just take this hand, and I just hold it there, and I push my left hand, that's the one in the back, into that one in the front here, and I can slowly just bring up some of that clay, right? Again, some water right on this top. Get some right to this bottom. Push in. I slowly lift this up. Alrighty. Bring this down. And probably a little bit more down, and then I'll start from here. Okay. Zoom. Thumb in. Water. Thumb out. Thumb up. Bit of water right there. Even out those walls. Okay. Go right to the bottom edge. And this is where we're going to start feeling out the clay. What is the clay going to allow us to do? So we're going to start from this middle, find our corner. Once we find the corner, we're going to start going out. How wide can we go out before it starts getting too thin? Okay, we can go pretty wide, but we're going to start getting thin there, so we're going to go up from there. See how we have this little bump? And then take that up. Alright. There we go. Next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna go right underneath. Again, we're slowly walking the thinness into place here. Smell at this top. So we just add some just weird little lines, just some marks there. Doesn't need to be like anything crazy, but just having some little visual interest. I noticed that recently with these, a lot of them have just been too smooth. So I'll do a little bit of some weird texture stuff on some of these today. Again, a lot of times when you're doing stuff like this on the wheel, if you're just slow and you actually keep in mind the less is more sort of saying, right? A lot of times you have these small moments that seem kind of quiet right now, but later on when you go to glaze the object, you'll find that those little small moments are really quite loud at the end of the process there, right? So again, getting ready to cut this off. Shelf. All right, and we'll get our wire tool. Where is our wire tool? Hold on guys. 1 second. All right. Wipe our hands clean. Get ready. Underneath. Lift this up. Bring this back a little bit more. Right on this front. All right. One. There we go. Camera A. Somebody asked me, sorry, I got something in my eye. Do I like glazing? Depends on how I'm glazing, right? Like if it's just like one, like something's like just one dip glaze, then it's easy. Glazing's easy. But if I'm trying to like make some like a unique object, then and I'm spraying and I'm doing different layers and all that stuff, then I would say maybe I don't like glazing. Wheel. Okay. Out. Rotate up. There we go. Underneath. Zoom. Some water. Zoom. Zoom. There we go. Out to the side. And we're going to do something in this middle one. We're going to make like a little spiral on the inside here, just for fun. Let's get a nice little bevel on this edge. And then we're going to make some little visual nonsense here. So, how about we do something like this? Come in from the top, and bring down like a line of slip. We're going to come in from the bottom. We're going to do the opposite. There we go, guys. Again, it's just some visual nonsense there. Do you see how I created that little band so that I could frame that too? And so with the transparent glaze, all that stuff will kind of get revealed and heightened, right? So I'm already starting to think a little bit about like what am I thinking about for glazes on these objects too, right? Like some objects, like you want to make big motions because you want the glaze, or like these small little like surface things to come through through maybe an opaque glaze, right? And maybe you get something with, you get some good layering and it creates some special effect, right? So you gotta think about how you're gonna be glazing these objects while you're still on the wheel with them, right? Okay. Again, right underneath. Shelf. Right over here. Welcome to the board. All right. Camera A. Camera A. All right. Making sure we get some of this water off that bottom there. I'm just trying to feel what the clay is giving me, right? I'm not trying to overpower it too much because I don't want to rip a bunch of clay off. Go thumb in, thumb out, thumb up. Okay.
On n'a pas besoin de raison quand on a l'héroïne.
All these little things off here. Zoom. Zoom. You get like some weird little line texture there. I'll trim this top little edge off. Alright. Again, some water right on this rim. Bevel this in just a tad here. Get right up underneath. Sponge. Right on that. Separate that bottom, push down just a tad. And there you go. So again, this is like one of those Japanese style little faceted things. This off. There we go. Welcome, friend. Okay, what's next? Next we'll do a swirly twist, right? Oh, from Brazil. Love your work. Inspired me to go and play with some clay too. Keep it up. Ah, thank you. I appreciate it. That's beautiful work, brother. Ah, thank you. All right. Space. Down to the side, out. Hand in. Again, we want to be kind of smooth on this bottom. And do you see how I'm like twisting this top too? I'm not worried about my hand distorting that top because I'm throwing this bottom part here, right? And so I'm going to realign everything on that top to where I'm throwing on this bottom part, right? Okay. Find this little bump. You ready? Underneath. And go. So we slowly stop when we get to the top, so we can try to even out some of this. Okay. So there we go, little spiral swirly boy. Let's get some of this out of this. Wire tool underneath, cut halfway, my pans underneath, lift off, shelf. There we go. Camera A, wheel, close in. Interesting, is there a trick to the spiral? I saw you do it, but still you have me questioning. Yeah, for sure, I can talk about it. So what I would say is when you're doing that little spiral here, right? You gotta think about what your normal pull is, right? Your pull is a spinning line that you're slowly taking up, right? And so when you see me do, like, watch this pull, zoom. So watch this. So I'm slowly taking up this line, and you see that little mini bump right where my sponge is? To get it even, what I'm doing is I'm allowing it to make one rotation in between each level up, right? So it's allowing itself to not get off center, right? And that's how I'm keeping these tops even. Well, if you want to get a spiral, here, I gotta pull this a little bit thinner before I do that. You gotta raise your hand faster than the rotation of the wheel, right? So it needs to make one full rotation. And in that time, you need to be above your starting point, right? So if I start right here, I need to be here by the time it makes one full rotation, right? And so then once you find that sort of pattern, then you just lift it up from there and you're all good, right? So here, let me see how thick we are on this bottom edge. Okay. So finding this little bump, so you see I have that bump, right? So here I go. I got a little bit wonky in this middle, but I can try to even that out just a tad. And so do you see how you kind of get that spiral? Like I'm allowing it to sit on top of it, and before it makes that full rotation, I'm allowing it to spin, right? But watch that. So I'm taking a spin and I'm doing an interior stretch out, so then I can have this really wacky looking cup that looks like something's underneath of the surface, right? And so I think these kind of emphasize some of those lines, right? It almost reminds me of like webbing on a like skin, right? So again, you got something like that too, but you're always, when you're doing those spirals, you're always above that leading, that starting point before it makes one full rotation, right? And so if you ever done like a big vessel, like a vase shape, and you notice that as you're getting wider, all of a sudden you get this huge channel or spiral, and then the whole thing is wonky, it's because you're moving your hands too fast for the wheel speed, right? And you're unintentionally making a spiral, right? And so this is just the intentional way to do the spiral, right? Shelf. Hello, sweet friend. Welcome. Thumb in, thumb out. Underneath. round off that top edge. Definitely has a little tree vibe into it, right? But sometimes these little things can, if you don't fully collapse it, right? Like I'm not collapsing them, I'm just having them sit there, right? I think when you try to collapse cups, it creates like really hard, difficult to clean areas. But if you kind of leave them perked up and uncollapsed, they actually end up being kind of cool little results. Underneath. Through. Wipe hands. Up. Snatch that guy right off the wheel there. Here we go. Camera A. Close in. All right, you ready? Thumb in. Thumb out. Thumb up. And slowly walk this up. Again, try to find our corner right underneath that edge. Again, walk up. A little bead of clay. Get the walls even first. Say, what are we thinking about this? What is this calling to us? For some reason, I'm getting kind of like an orb. It's calling me to make an orb. So I'll bring this in. Top. Underneath. This underneath, halfway through. Nice. So this one was kind of weird. The bottom I actually didn't make thick enough. So that was the bottom's gonna be a little bit distorted on that, so trimming is gonna be a little bit of a nightmare on that one. So that was my fault. Maybe you could see it when I picked it up that it was a little bit less, it was like that pushed in a little bit towards the bottom. So that was my bad. Okay. Zoom. You see that whole like little chunk there? Underneath, like that little like ledge, that's gonna get folded over and it's gonna come off anyway, so. Again, right out to the side. Ah! Shelf. Shelf. Camera A. Can you guys hear my stomach grumble or no? I'm so hungry. I didn't eat today yet. That's okay. Gonna screw that up a little bit. Zoom. Get ready.
Okay, angel. Jump harder.
And pull that wall out, right? At the base, look over there. So slowly we're gonna start hooking our finger out. And then we have this little bump and we can just walk that up. So it's an interior hand pull, one-handed pulls. Split the rim. Really liking how this looks, guys. I mean, just look at this one. Pretty, right? Here we go. Bring this up more and more.
Choisir la vie. Dans l'héroïne.
And then bring this up.
Choisir la vie.
All right. Let's try to do something where we peel off different layers of clay here. I really don't know if I can do it like that.
Pas besoin de raison quand on a l'héroïne.
That's not really gonna work. But we'll do something like this.
Dans l'héroïne. Choisir la vie, choisir un boulot, choisir une carrière, choisir une famille, choisir une putain de télé à la con, choisir des machines à laver, des bagnoles, des platines laser, des ouvre-boîtes électroniques.
So sad. Too thin in that spot. But you can kind of see what I was trying to go for right there, guys.
On n'a pas besoin de raison quand on
That was my bad. Here we go. Aww. This one's kind of all screwed up now. Maybe we'll leave it. Because I did kind of like what this pot was trying to do, you know? Just so sad that it's really screwed up. Is it a vibe? I don't think so, but we're gonna see, just because sometimes if you kind of let that failure, that weird little buckle on the rim, just talk instead of trying to fix it, there was sort of an immediacy that happened with it, right? Like it happened all of a sudden, so it looks like it was like capturing like motion a little bit, right? If you try to like fix it more, like I feel like you should, like if I was really trying to make it look clean, I would have just cut that whole top rim off. But I would say that I'm not really trying to worry about it too much, but maybe that there's glaze will work with it really interesting. Or maybe if I clean up the rest of it, then maybe it would look like that is more purposeful, right? If you have everything else like really precise and then there's that one kind of like jarring thing, maybe it'd look kind of cool. Okay. Okay. I think we'll actually throw the whole bag today. It's still, what is it, like 3? We have time. All right, we're gonna keep on going, but I do want to take a little restroom break here. So we'll pause music. Oh, come on. All right. So we'll just put these on here for right now. I'm gonna use the restroom. I'll be back. Let you guys kind of look at these. Wheel. This is what we got cruising right now. And I'll be back in a second. We'll keep on moving. So we got some cool forms though. I'm pretty excited about some of them. All right, I'll be back. Just need to wipe off a little bit more of this mud. Got a little bucket water, like 3-bucket water cleaning system here. And then whatever builds up in the bottom after a while, I just reclaim it. So anyway, I'll be back in a second, guys. Okay. I'm back here, guys. Sorry about that. We'll probably do a vibe shift for the second batch. Because we were kind of just like jamming out there. Maybe we'll be like more, I don't know. Let's look at these guys. Actually, I want to be okay. Wheel. Oh. Space. Oh no. Or desk. Desk. Oh, mini wheel. Is this empty? Mini wheel. I think it's empty. Alright. So I guess we'll just throw a bag today. I mean, I kind of have a lot of... I may even do more than a bag. Today is kind of a good day for me to work on some stuff here. I'm walking this over. I do need to get food. Because if I go another day where I don't eat until like 10, I'm going to go crazy. You gotta get a new bucket of water here. So we throw all the chunks in the first bucket, even all the water, like the thin, slippy water too. You want that in the bucket, right? It's important to have that. That's your it's your fine clay particles, right? You gotta have that in your reclaim. Okie dokie. Okay. You can just smack it the whole entire way until it gets down, but I realize that my neighbors are upstairs. And the smacking sound from the basement is probably not a sound they want to hear. Well, hey, I just came back from my potting lesson. I did glazes today, no firing yet. It was so different to what I thought it was. I thought it would be like ink, but it's more like pitting wet sand on. Yeah, I guess that's true. It is kind of like a wet sand. But maybe like, I always think of it's more like confectionate sugar to me personally. Oh, I got some clay on the thing today, on my microphone. Alright, hold on, I gotta redo that top because I got a little bit uneven there. Zoom. I got you thinking I should try this, so thank you for the inspiration. Yeah, yo. I'm glad you're taking a class. It's so much like I feel like it brings a lot of value to life. I'm telling you, like, make something for like somebody that you see often, right? Like, but not somebody who you should make something for, right? Like, not a friend. Make something for like somebody who, like maybe a gas station clerk that you see often, right? Or maybe you wave to your garbage guy, right? Garbage truck guy, and then you make him something, right? So it's just, I feel like those moments are so, like, you can make something special out of moments when you see those types of people with an object, right? So make something for them. Maybe if you see them, be like, yo, what's your favorite animal? Do you have, and then maybe put that on the thing too. So it's not just like a random object, you're like considering them a little bit. I'm telling you, it's a very positive thing for the world to do stuff like that. Why is it? Something's weird with this one. I'm glad I have a lot of clay because this one got really weird. It's like it didn't want to come off and then I reattached it. But that's okay. It's not that big of a deal. We'll just have to trim it while it's a little bit softer. You see that little fold underneath this edge here? We gotta get rid of that. You made them for yourself. I won't give the first try away, probably, but a good idea. It's an open workshop with one woman looking over everything. Interesting. So does like this lady do like a demo, or she just kind of does her own thing? And then I'm curious because I've seen all sorts of different ways that teachers like run those sort of classes. I'm curious. We're a group of 3 people, absolute beginners, and the woman shows everything, but I like to work on stuff alone. I feel the material, ask questions when interested about anything, so it's perfect to me. Sweet. I have a student I think she doesn't like when I assist her with anything, you know? And so I was like, I was like trying to explain something to her and I was having a hard time explaining. So I was like, can I just like show you? And she just goes, no. And I'm like, and she just says, no. I'm like, okay. Like, it was just kind of funny. Like, I forget that some people really just don't like assistance at all, you know? So it's always kind of interesting that you gotta kind of adjust. You're like, okay, so how can I explain this without showing it now? And so it's always fun. They keep me on my toes, that's for sure. Shelf? I gotta get some more boards. You got all that stuff, kind of just scoop that off there. Space. Yeah, I think you're totally right about that. It's just kind of funny in my position because like I feel like usually I have like a set couple ways to show people things, and so when somebody challenges me to like think outside the box, I kind of have to think about it a little bit more. So in a way, it helps me too, you know. So yeah. Perk that up just a tad. Thank you for taking interest in my story. Good to see you thinking about how this might apply to you in your classroom. Yeah, of course. I always like hearing about people making things. And I think too, like, you know, I think like when I am in these sometimes in these classroom settings, I'm always wondering if like I'm doing enough, right? So kind of seeing what other teachers do makes me like helps me out a little bit to feel not as bad about if I'm doing a good job or not. I need to be a little bit more. It's sinking again, huh? this underneath? She has lessons for disabled kids. I think she's pretty used to different kinds of students and their needs. I feel like that's why I think I'm not really a good teacher deep down. Is because I just feel like I'm not really good at being very I'm not good at planning things out, and I'm not good at being on the fly, for like in a teaching scenario. So I think I'm just not really a teacher, I think, deep down. I think I'm a lot more of a doer and a maker than I am a teacher. Shelf. Yeah, I think if I was to do that, I think I'm spending too much time of my free time trying to like address a thing that I don't see myself doing in the long run. You know what I mean? Like I think if I start studying like student archetypes and how to best teach them, I feel like I'd be like I'm not attacking like my own personal practice hard enough. That's my only thing. That's why I think I'm not a teacher. You know. My ego's too big. Hard nut to crack. Sorry. All right. It's actually kind of nice. I've been noticing the wheel has been getting quieter as I've been working on it. So, if you ever get a new wheel and it sounds like you got some like slow like grinding going on, it slowly goes away. All right. I was jamming out earlier, so don't worry. I got my fix in for my I got the vibe fix in from earlier. So you can see this is tilting. So we gotta actually fix that later on, but we're not gonna worry about it too much right now. Actually, you know what? If we just lift up this little corner here. We can stick this clay right on in there. There we go. So it just sits level. Slowly bring this up. Close in. Space. Alright, I'm going to close this in just a tad here. I smooth out the base, slowly over to the side. I'll lift that up. I'm going to swap my fingers, create a little bump there. Again, I'm going to swap, create a little bump. Then I'll take that up from there. And then what I'll do is I'll go right in towards this bottom here. I'm going to create a little line. And then I think, you know what I'll do, if I'm right here anyway, why don't we do something kind of, add something on there, right? Put some water on there, just push in and down, rotating this tool, right? You see this tool, like it's kind of starts off at an angle, I'm slowly pushing that side down, and see how it separates that clay off? Okie dokie, here we go, right underneath. Shelf. Alright, so the board is complete. So we finished our board here. So now we need to swap over to a bin. We gotta do some small adjustments. Here we go. So this board, I'm going to slowly move this over here. Mini wheel. You guys can kind of see I'm going to be bringing this stuff right over here. Or, yeah. Bring that right over here. Just so it's kind of out of the way. And what I'll do is I'll just wait throughout the day, and then I'll come back down. And I'll move those into bins after they dry, just because I've been liking how easy it is to set those, set the pots when they're just 2 by 2, like right next to each other. It's really easy to set them down next to each other without wasting surface area on the board, right? Those were all pretty tight along that board. But now we'll go back to shelf. We'll go do this here. Right. Okay. Let's let's just wipe some of this. And like what we're looking for is every time we use this bin, we want to try to get some of that plaster off of there. Okay. Peel off some of this clay here. Go right up underneath. Pop this up. Take a breath, and we'll be good there. Okay. Out. Up. Finger right underneath this base. Again, first pull. I'm just trying to even out the wall thickness. Okay. Wall thickness is kind of even out. Now we can get into shaping. I think I want to bring this one in first a little bit. Smooth out that. Gonna come out to the top. I was getting a little bit thin on towards that bottom, so you could kind of see me torquing that top a little bit too much. That's okay. Yeah, we're gonna go right back down to that bottom there. And slowly walking this out to the side. Top view? Oh, space. You can kind of see what I'm doing here. Shelf. Alrighty. Camera A. Space. Screwed that up a little bit. Without that base. Okay, so watch me use my top of my hand as I'm pushing that out. Do just an interior pull and shape with just one hand on that inside there. Shelf. Zoom. Space. I screwed up that one side, but if we just emphasize, we might. Okay. When you push in, all of a sudden you get this nice little ripple on the top rim here. And it's gonna form its own pattern based on where you were pushing in, right? So we kind of leave that one just like that. And see halfway up there's this like little tear. We gotta fix that. Last one with the ridges is really cool. You like that? Cool. Little, the Instagram girly swirl. Only thing I'm missing on this is maybe like mixing in different colors, you know. We actually want maybe two. Lines there. Maybe you could put the most recent ones as top view before pitting them away. I don't know what you mean, like literally straight down, or you could put the most recent ones as top view. Oh, I see what you mean. Here, let me try something. I'll do it on this one, and let me know if this is kind of what you mean. Instagram girly swirl. I feel personally attacked. Don't feel attacked. I had a friend, I can say her first name, but her name is Amy, right? And she would always use things that, like, the way to explain them is girlies, right? So she made a kiln program called Cone 6 Girlies, right? And whenever I did Cone 6, that's what I was doing, Cone 6 Girlies. I thought it was kind of like a fun word, girlies, right? But I feel like a lot of people, they like that, the swirl. The swirl is, I think there's something that's very like capturing just the spinning of the wheel visually that I think draws a lot of people in. I just think maybe sometimes it's a little bit like, it's becoming a genre. It's not becoming a technique. It's becoming a genre, I think. I only feel attacked because I have 3 posts and 2 of them are throwing a swirl. So truth hurts. No, there's literally nothing wrong with doing the swirls, you know. I just think really, don't you feel like it's there's like a genre, it's a genre of pots, right? Like whenever I see the swirls, I think of like porcelain. I think somebody's like wedging in some color into their object. I'm thinking of like white background, really clean wheel, no dirt on the person. I think like a clear glaze. I think pinks. I think pastel colors. I think you could find like there's like genres and pottery everywhere, right? Think of like large pottery, like big pots, right? Who's making the big pots? It's usually like these like guys who are a little bit more like gruff, maybe that's the word, gruff, and they're like trying to flex on people with like making these large pots, right? There's something about making the large pots, usually stoneware. Sometimes they're doing coil building, very rarely. I feel like I see them doing like just straight off one-offs, and if they do, it's a very specific hardness of clay. So it's a lot about like display, right? It's not really about the object for those guys. I feel like it's more about just like how they're displaying the work, right? So I think that's a genre, right? Then you have like the smooth boys, right? Where everything that they make is literally they just like destroy all the lines and they just smooth and shape everything with this, right? Very geometric, like the Hans Koper wannabes, you know. Yeah, I think there's just tons and tons of little genres of makers. So don't feel offended. You should just make what you like. Mm. Also, the ruin it genre. Throw it as big as possible. Pretend you didn't flop it on purpose. Ah, yeah, I have seen a lot of the. That's. I feel like that's more of like a very digital Potter thing, though. Like I think people like make these things to destroy the flop because it gets like a lot of views, and I think the reason it gets a couple of views is it's like people who are outside of the realm of making will think that like making 20 objects is like an absolute metric ton of work, right? So like when somebody destroys 20 objects to like somebody who doesn't really know like the process, it's like, wow, how could you destroy that much, right? But these guys could probably throw those pots in like maybe 20 minutes. you know you know what I mean? Like it's not really that big of a deal. And then the shapes, if you look at like the flop people, like the shapes are totally unrealized. Like they have no consideration in them other than just to be destroyed. And so I think they're like, I actually don't like that sort of content because I think it's really about like milking people. Like I think they're really just like found something that they know is going to milk views, right? And I think that that's kind of disrespectful to your time and your work. But that's my personal opinion on it. Like those people are trying to make money, you know what I mean? Like lots of money, so they're playing the game, right? But would I call those people like those even pottery videos? No, those are to me, I think those are really just like um hmm, it's like rage bait, but for pottery, right? You guys know what rage bait is? Like somebody says something that like stirs somebody to make a comment. It's funny when I say to people it takes me 3 minutes to throw a pot, and they're like, then you have an hourly rate of $200, and I'm like, no, there's more steps. Yeah, I know what you mean. Um, and two, like, I've never sold like some of my cups, so like I don't really know like what that whole area of making looks like. So it's just kind of like I have I have no recommendations on that or too big of a opinion because I'm not really sure about it in the first place. I don't think I really ever have people ask me those sorts of questions too, like the hourly rate thing. I think it's the throwing part that is time consuming when in reality all the other stuff takes time. Yeah. That's why I never classify myself as a potter. Because I think I'm more like, here, space. Get that off there. Shelf. I feel like I'm not really like, I don't like anything other than the throwing. Throwing is most bearable, so I wouldn't classify myself as a potter. Maybe I'm just a thrower. But I also don't like labels, so that's, I don't know what I am. Camera A. We will do one of these. Let me wipe my hands off here because we're kind of getting down. We'll go here. I had a coworker who wants to commission me 4 cups, and she wants to pay me $6 US because she heard that I throw them in 10 minutes. So that's crazy. I feel like if somebody asks me like 4 cups, that's one thing. But if somebody says, I'm only gonna, like, I want 4 cups, I'm gonna pay you $6 because I heard you can throw them in 10 minutes. Like, I'd say, okay, you can make them yourself. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like I would be a little bit like, I'd be a little bit irritated by the way they brought that up, you know? Just wanted to, wait, you said something else. I only sold a couple of pieces, so I'm not a potter either. I don't know if that necessarily, like selling your stuff, makes you a potter, does it? I feel like I feel like you can just be a potter if you say you're a potter, to be honest. We kind of like those little lines there. Do we want on the bottom? No. She also wants me to help her throw them, trim and engrave them. So she also wanted a free lesson. I mean, $6 lesson. That's crazy, huh? You should say, I have 3 videos that I have posted. You should watch them. True, I should say I'm more of a hobby potter. I think I think a lot of people who claim that they're serious potters, I think we're all just kind of hobby potters. I think there's very few people who are like real like whatever that I think like a potter is, right? I think most people are hobby potters, right? Like even the Florian Gatsby's, that's I feel like that's hobby potter, you know? Like the Hammerly Ceramics, I feel like is hobby potter, right? I think like the word hobby is like not pejorative though, you know? Who would I say? Maybe like I would say I almost think too like even like the Don Rietzes or the um, maybe they are like real potters, I would say. Like a lot of those like people in like the 60s who were like really cruising on the vessels there, I feel like they're pretty. Can it be a hobby if it's your main source of income? Do you think, I would say this, do you think that, for example, some of those people who are really popular online, do you think their main income is the work that they're producing? Or do you think it's the views and the sponsors and their merchandise that's their main source of income, right? I don't know. I would say that they probably make a ton of money from their pots, but I feel like that's more of like a prop up for the rest of the stuff, you know? Maybe for like the Hammerly Ceramics dude, like I would say he probably makes a bunch of money off his stuff because he's more of like a brand and he's like slip casting hundreds of these things, right? So maybe him. But I would say a lot of the people that you like see on like TikTok or anything like that, they have other forms of income that aren't their pots, right? And if you look at some of those people like true, but if your videos are only a bonus, true, but if your videos are only a bonus and a byproduct. So you think the videos are byproduct? I think the pots are the byproduct. Isn't that interesting that we think differently on that? I think for a lot of people online, the pots are byproduct, right? Like for example, like me, like all these pots I'm making, this is just byproduct of me streaming, you know? Like it's not, I don't view it the other way around personally. You think the flooring videos are byproduct? I feel like that'd be a cool video as a tier list on that. Like who do you think there? I think maybe you'd probably you'd upset some people though, so maybe don't make that video. But I feel like a tier list on like what you think, like what is byproduct and what is um what's the opposite of it? I don't even know. Byproduct versus um, main product versus byproduct, and then you just labeled a whole bunch of people And like I feel like you could probably find something interesting about, you think of pottery as like this, um, like little subculture in digital world, but perhaps there's something that's really kind of uh, interesting about the way people make their content. Like maybe these things are a lot more different than what we are thinking right now. Okay, I think that looks kind of nice. Just me. I feel like I remember you. I feel like you changed your icon though. You change your icon. I think of it as that would change if they deleted their YouTube. But I think of it as what would change if they deleted their YouTube tomorrow. Probably just go to a different platform, or maybe even like for example, like Florian Gatsby, he's making a book, right? Like I think people would start finding like people start trying to milk their audience for different things after a certain point, right? I had this icon for a long time. I feel like I remember your name, but I don't remember the icon. Let me see up close. What is your icon? Yeah, I don't know. Is it Thomas the Train? You're gonna have to remind me of what we were talking about. I know Ben Wolf? No. I know Guy Wolf. Guy Wolf, he worked with a guy named, what's his name? Simon Leach, which is like the grandson of Bernard Leach. And I think he lives somewhere in the US. Maybe not. I don't know where he lives, right? But maybe he lives in Canada. But I saw Guy Wolf in a video with Simon Leach, and they were talking about throwing. I don't know who Bibble is. He streams sometimes, but he's a potter from the States whose main product is for sure pottery. Yeah, that's cool. I feel like I don't know a lot of potters in real life. Wow, so we're done again. I guess let's just do another. What time? How long have we been streaming? 2 hours maybe? Yeah, 2 hours. We went through a bag. Let's keep going. We could probably fill up the rest of this and another one. And then we'd probably get close to just having to just dry the things out. I mean, his dad has a pottery store. What should you draw? You should draw a wizard casting an eyeball spell. And the spell just creates eyeballs all over the page. All right. Mini wheel. All right. So I think, what time is it right now? 4:25. I'll try to be done before 6. And then I'll go and get food at 6. And then I gotta call people, that's not gonna be fun. Actually, Actually, I needed to get off. I remember that's kind of more important. I can't call people really late at night because it's like work related. Dang, I wanted to kind of make more. I gotta, hold on one sec, guys. I gotta check the weather. Because the weather is gonna determine if I need to call these people or not. Mm. I gotta think for a second, y'all. So if I call now. Let's see. Hold on, what'd you guys say? But he's one of those potters where he makes pottery more like the craft than the art, if that makes sense. It's really cool. I see a lot of artsy potters, but he could just be as well, or be as well be a mason. Oh, cool. An eyeball spell? You may not want to know how that eventually works out, brother. Oh, you have to sacrifice an eyeball? Oh no. That wouldn't be good. 4 o'clock now. Send messages. No, I'll wait. No, I gotta go. I gotta go, guys. Sorry. That means tomorrow what I'll do is I'll throw the rest of this bag. And then after that, then I think I can get into making more batch Generation 5 water whistles. Yeah, Generation 5 water whistles and then trim. Then I gotta edit all this stuff that I've been doing. Anyway, thanks guys for watching. I'll see you guys around, okay?